Hi, we're going to cover now episode 2, which is the first one in resin printing. And in this video, we're going to try to keep it real simple, keep our communication clear, give you the basics of what you need to know. The beauty of resin printing is really to create smooth, high detail models with no layer lines. Just really beautiful aesthetic models. What we're going to cover in this episode, we're going to talk about the different types of 3D resin printers, how resin printing actually works, the different resins you're going to need, the tools and equipment you're going to need, and finally, what do you do next? How do you get your files? How do you set them up for print? How do you send them to print? That's going to be in a future video. Okay, so first of all, the different types of resin printers. Basically, there's all different sizes, styles of resin printers, and they vary very slightly. They vary from the build volume, from being very small, the large, to the super large, like our Jupiter. There are slight differences. Some of them come with a lot of extra perks, like tilting vats for better performance, heated vats to heat up your resins, better UI, fancy features. But basically, they all work very similar to each other, and they work very well. So let's talk about how resin printing works. Underneath here, you have a very, very strong UV light. Inside this vat, we have UV resin that's liquid that cures with UV light. The vat has a clear bottom. We call that the FEP. There's other names for it, the clear bottom sheet. And then in between the vat and the light, there's basically an LCD screen, similar to an iPhone screen. And what this does is it exposes only the layer that needs to be cured. So the build plate comes down, almost touching the very bottom of the FEP. The screen shows a pattern it would like exposed. The light exposes and cures that resin in that area on one layer. Then the whole head comes up a bit to release the printed part from the FEP and leave it on the build plate. And then it goes back down an increment, a very small amount above the previous print, and prints the next layer. And it just keeps doing it till it builds. One of the beauties of resin prints is the resolution. Those LCD screens are high resolution, so your outlines are very, very accurate and precise, as opposed to an FEM printer where you have a 0.2 millimeter bead that goes around, and it's going to be not able to get into a 0.1 millimeter radius. The other thing is it goes up in very small increments, 0.05 millimeter increments, or even 0.03 for very fine. So you have no layer lines. It produces really incredible prints. That's basically the whole function of this machine. However, you have to know that there's more to it. After that print is done, we're going to have to remove it from the build plate, and then we're going to have to wash and cure it. It's a good idea to get a wash and cure station. There's many out there. This one right here has a little propeller on the bottom that mixes up the IPA, the isopropyl alcohol inside, to allow the part to wash off very well. We're going to show you some other options for getting started if you don't have that yet, but you do need a UV cure station, and this is going to be doing your final UV cure of the outside of the print. And basically the specific 405 nanometer LED UV lights in there, a turntable, it's turning the part inside and curing it as it's done. So the good news is, with the right process, the right workplace setup, you could actually do a great job resin printing, contain the mess, and be safe. You just have to adapt to some of the conditions of resin printing, and you'll have a great time. Okay, so what you're going to need to get started with resin printing, and this is a little bit more complex than FDM printing, we're going to need elements for safety. So you want to buy a big box of menstrual gloves. You'll be going through these between every print. You just throw them out between use. You're going to want a lot of IPA, isopropyl alcohol. We get 99%, about 80% and above is good. We get the gallon jugs to save on money. You're going to want some kind of a surface protector. We recommend a silicone mat. Our slat mats were designed for resin printing with this nice thick border, so it'll contain a spill, and it's thick enough that you could carry this thing outside with the spill and let the sunlight cure the resin if you need to. We have them on every surface when we're resin printing. You'll need some good USB sticks unless your printer can send via network, but not many do. But the USB sticks that usually come with the machines are pretty low quality and you'll get failures. You're definitely going to want some paint strainers. This common type 190 micron is great because when you are changing the resin into that and pouring it back into the bottle, you don't want any hardened pieces to get into that resin. You want it to be pure. One thing that we do recommend is getting a drip station. This is our ultimate drip. This allows you to put your filter into a funnel. You could use a polypropylene funnel or a specifically built ultimate fun, Wham Bam's product. You put your vat right above and let it drip down. If you have a spatula with a silicone tip, like our ultimate wipe, you could just clean the vat while it's dripping and help it to really get all of your resin back into the bottle to recycle and reuse the resin and to clean up easier. Another thing you're going to need is a spatula with a rubber tip. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get some window spatulas and cut them down. This is our ultimate wipe. It comes with different blades, like the mixing blade, which allows you to mix the resin when it's been sitting a long time. Very key. The resin will separate when it's sitting, and we want to mix that before each print. Otherwise, we have the risk of print failures and inconsistencies. We also do need a wash and cure station if you didn't already get one. I'm going to show you a substitute to a wash station if you just want to DIY in a second. But you do want to consider investing in a wash and cure station. It will make your life a lot easier. Two alternatives to a wash station is you might want to get a big bin. You could 3D print some distancers that separate the sediment from the good alcohol, and you can wash large parts inside of here really well. Another thing that I love to do for small parts to get them really clean, sure, especially if you're doing transparents and things, is a little pickle washer, pickle jar. You drop your parts in there, and then with a toothbrush, you could just go over and get off the uncured excess resin. And then you've got a perfectly clean part ready to cure. Make sure you're drying the parts off completely before curing so you don't get stains. But there you go. Two more things you're going to need. One would be a metal spatula. If you're printing directly to the machine's build plate, you're going to have to chisel those parts off of your build plate after it's been printed. You might want to get a plastic spatula if you're using a flexible build system. So Wham Bam invented the flexible build system. We could touch on that right now. And basically what it is a very high-powered magnet and a flexible steel plate. So when the print is done printing, you just pop that plate off with the print, and you flex it, and for the most part, the print just pops right off. If there's anything really small sticking, a little push with a plastic scraper, and it's off. And this just saves so much time and allows you to print full bottom bases on the plate, which makes it easier to print a lot of models. So we're going to talk about our first resins to use. So for beginners, I recommend some ABS-like, whether it's Elegoo or any of the other brands, simple resins that are easy to print in a wide range of interior temperatures. Pay attention as you get into more complex resins. They require probably a heated vat, possibly that the resin is already preheated and the room temperature is up, especially if you're placing your machine in a garage or someplace cold. Something like this is a great beginner resin, comes in many different colors and really prints well. As you start to get more advanced and you want to play with your settings, you might want to look at some really cool other brands of high quality, very high impact resistant products. Even, for example, this onyx, which I've seen hammers printed, able to be used, ping pong balls that were hit around. Really cool stuff. But once again, these require more setup, more conditions. They're more viscous, which means the resin is thicker. It doesn't want to flow as well underneath the screen. You need a heated vat. You need heated resins. And you have to print under certain conditions. So start off first with some basic ABS-like resins from some of the leading brands. One more thing to add on here is that, like I was saying, the temperature of the room will change the viscosity of the resin and make it harder to print. If your printer's in a garage, you've got issues. And if you're storing your materials in cold spaces, same thing. So you probably want a machine that has a full enclosure and a heater inside, or you might want to consider investing in an enclosure like the Wham Bam Hot Box to put around your machine, possibly a heater to get it to the right temperature. So most of the resins I told you about were regular alcohol cleanable resins. There are water washable resins, but I want to give you a very serious caveat. They do wash off with water. You keep a trash can of water that you're cleaning the parts in, wonderful. But do not dispose that water down your sink, down the toilet, down a public sewer. It still has very dangerous chemicals for our water supply, and this is to be taken seriously. A lot of people buy this water washable resin and clean it off in their sink and think nothing of it, but we're basically really polluting our own water supply. So I'm hesitant to use the water washable resins. You can try. I would suggest you get your own big bin of water and bring it to a recycling plant with the specs of the resin so they know how to recycle it. So resin printing is incredibly rewarding. It does demand a clean, organized, and safety-first workspace. But once you have that dialed in, the quality you can get from these things is just amazing. It's a really satisfying hobby to get into. In the next episode, we're going to cover where to find 3D models, possibly how to make them on your own, how to prepare them for print, basically bringing them into a slicer, slicing them, adding supports, everything else you need to do, and how to send it to print. So look forward to having you in our next video, and please do subscribe if you want to follow along with our full series. Add your comments because those are going to help us to contour our next lessons to what the users want to hear most, and do give us a like. Thank you very much.